It was late at night, the kind of hour when the wind pushes hard against the trees and makes their branches clatter like bones knocking together. The birds had gone silent long ago. I stood on the porch of my family home, staring at a door I hadn't opened in 15 years. 15 long years. And tonight, standing there in the dark, I felt it. This house didn't want me back. Its walls loomed against me like strangers, the same way my relatives had once done, the ones I trusted, the ones I gave everything to, only to watch them turn cold, alien, like masks I no longer recognized. This house had been full of life once. It had been laughter and Sunday dinners, echoes of voices tangled together in a kind of hymn only families can make. But now it was silent. Silent in a way that made even the sound of my own boots against the porch feel like an intrusion. My family had left me in an instant, gone on a pilgrimage, my mother, my father, my sister, all of them. They had dreams, prayers in their pockets, and never knew that trip would be their last. Their plane went down in the Appalachian Mountains, and with them, my world burned down too. I lost my mind for a while, couldn't think, couldn't breathe without them. Relatives surrounded me, but none of it mattered. The people who gave me reason to live weren't there anymore. That's why I left. I packed my grief and ran to America, built a life far from this cursed place. But fate has a cruel way of circling back. Tonight I was standing here again. My Uncle Thomas and his boy sat with me late into the evening. We talked about old times, their voices filling the space like kindling trying to spark a fire in a dead hearth. Eventually they left, retreating to their own homes. I climbed the staircase alone and went to my childhood room. The bed creaked beneath me as I laid down, exhausted. My eyes had barely closed when I felt it. Someone was shaking me, not gentle. I jolted awake, but no one was there. I told myself it was a dream, travel fatigue, jet lag. That's when I heard the footsteps in the hallway. I got up, heart thundering, and followed the sound, down the corridor into the shadows. And then I saw it, the figure, a shadow moving ahead of me, black as coal, silent as death. "Hey!" I called. My voice cracked in the empty hall. The figure didn't stop, didn't turn. I followed, each step heavier than the last, until I reached the basement door. My hand trembled as I pulled it open, and the stench hit me like a wall. There, on the floor, was a body, rotting, bloated, genderless in its decay. The skin peeled back in places, the face unrecognizable. The smell was so sharp it made my eyes water. I stumbled backward, choking on bile, and ran. I didn't stop until I reached the caretaker's little house out back. Old George, who'd looked after the property all these years. When I dragged him to the basement, it was empty. No corpse. Not even the smell remained. George chuckled, a weary, half-toothless sound. "Son, it's just the fatigue. Jet lag does strange things. Get some rest." But I couldn't shake it. The next night was worse. I woke with the heavy certainty that I wasn't alone in my bed. At first, I told myself it was nothing, until I felt a hand on my back. Cold, heavy, too real. My blood froze. Then came the crawling sensation, like a snake slithering beneath the covers, winding against my legs. My chest locked. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. My body was stone. A hot breath touched my neck. Close. Too close. I knew it wasn't human. Whatever it was, it moved wrong. Its weight shifted unnaturally beneath the sheets. I didn't dare turn my head. Didn't dare see its face. Seconds or hours passed before my brain screamed at me to pray. I hadn't prayed in years, but in that moment, words spilled through my teeth like blood. And somehow courage surged through me. I ripped the blanket off the bed and bolted for the door, not once looking back. The third night was the worst of them all. Eyes, that's what I remember most. Pairs of glowing eyes in every corner of the room, watching, unblinking, waiting. Shadows stretched with knives in their hands. Animals stalked across the floor, jaws dripping. But when I reached for the light, they vanished. By day, it didn't stop. My belongings disappeared. only to reappear exactly where I'd searched 100 times. Stains of what looked like dried blood bloomed across the wallpaper, then faded when George came near. And the smell, God, the smell. Rancid, metallic, the stink of spoiled meat. I finally broke. I called a priest from town. Father Myers, told him everything. He walked through the house, muttering prayers, tracing crosses in the air. After an hour, he shook his head, face pale. "These things are stronger than me," he whispered. "I can't help you." The words gutted me. If even the church couldn't face this, what was I supposed to do? For a moment, I thought of leaving, packing my bags, flying back to safety. But no, this was my home, my family's home. I wouldn't abandon it. Not to them. That night, they came for me. I woke choking, the air thick like drowning. The windows rattled violently. The door blew open, and in the dark, the corpse returned. This time, I saw its face, or what was left of it. No eyes, no lips, just a gaping black hole where its mouth should have been, sucking the air, exhaling a furnace roar that burned against my skin. It leaned closer, closer, until I could smell the grave in its breath. I screamed prayers until my throat bled. The thing trembled, its body jerking like a puppet, but it didn't leave. My lungs were collapsing, the world dimming, and then, with a violent gust through the window, it vanished. The next day, I drove miles into the countryside to find Pastor Whitaker, a man they called a holy elder. He listened to my story without interruption, his face carved in stone. When I finished, he said quietly, "Son, this house doesn't belong to you anymore. When you left, something else claimed it. They live here now, and they won't leave without a fight. Are you willing to risk everything to take it back?" I nodded before my mind could catch up. For 40 days, Whitaker stayed in the house with me. Day and night, his voice filled the halls with prayers, psalms, invocations. At night, the house screamed back. We heard growls above the ceiling, shrieks clawing from the walls, pounding from the floors as though the dead themselves wanted out. More than once, I thought the old man wouldn't survive the night. But he did. On the 40th night, just as dawn broke, the air split with a thunderous crack. The doors slammed shut, windows shattered inward, glass raining like ice. And then I saw them, dozens of shadows, crawling, writhing, snarling. Faces twisted, eyes burning like coals. They shrieked as they were driven out, shrieked like animals set on fire, until they dissolved into nothing. Silence fell. When morning came, the house was still. Too still. Peaceful, almost. But even now, I can't shake it. That corpse, those eyes, the stench of rot. It's all still here, somewhere in my head. And sometimes, late at night, when I lie awake in that same bed, I feel it again. The weight on the mattress. The breath against my neck. I wonder if they ever really left. Or if they're still here, waiting for me in the dark.